What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, this is a SCP that made, little cameos throughout the reactions I made thus far. And I'm really excited for this one. I know it's going to be a juicy one because this is SCP-231, the Seven Brides. So this one, from what I've gathered throughout all the reactions that they talked about this SCP briefly, I'm assuming these brides are the people that gave birth to the children of the Scarlet King. That's what I gathered from, from the reactions and what you guys have been telling me thus far. I haven't, reacted to the actual SCP of this one, so this is going to be the first time me doing so. I'm excited to see if there's maybe some kind of origins along the lines of where these seven brides met the Scarlet King. Were they specifically chosen few, or were they just random girls? I definitely would love to know how that came to be and what was the goal for the Scarlet King to, do the deed. So I'm excited to find out in this reaction. So if you guys are excited as well too to see it, please remember to smash that like button. It means the world and takes less than a second. Also remember to smash the sub button as well too. Join the family like always. These are the pit stops before we go balls to the wall. All gas, no brakes. I'm telling you guys, if you're window shopping, if you're debating about hopping over the fence, yo, you ain't gonna get bit by no dogs, bro. There's only family here. You're gonna be safe. It's gonna be a fun time. So hop on the train. Let's keep it pushing, guys, because you don't slow down for nothing. And also remember, turn on post notifications so you do not miss an upload. I'm telling you guys, even if you are subscribed, YouTube doesn't always post each upload. So it behooves you, if you want to catch each one when it drops, remember to smash that notification button. And also remember, shout out to TheRubber for bringing this animation to fruition so we can react to it today. So without all out the way, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-231, the Seven Brides. Man, let's get it, man. I hope this is a good one.
With the implementation of this procedure, the suffering of 2317 can prevent an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario. For this reason, putting the poor girl out of her misery is not an option. Under no circumstances are narcotics, anesthesia, or other unapproved medications to be administered to 2317. She must be aware of what is going on for 110 Montauk to work. Hello, everyone.
110 Montauk? Okay, I'm sure they're going to explain that within the video, but if they don't, y'all know what to do in the comment section. help a brother out.
Everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you an SCP Foundation Keter class object, SCP-231. SCP-231, also known as Special Personnel Requirements, is one of the classic items in the SCP Foundation series. 231 are 7 pregnant females, and whenever either one of them gives birth, a disaster will occur. SCP-231-1-7 was discovered after police searched a warehouse held by an organization named Children of the Scarlet King. 24 hours after being...
So that's another organization along the lines of the church and the SCP Foundation. I really need to, if you guys know any good videos for the different factions within the SCP universe, let me know in the comment section below too, because I really want to get up to speed with just how many different factions they are and what they actually mean to the main plot. You know what I'm saying? So let me know in the comment section.
Rescued, the first female, 2311, began to produce labor pain and give birth to an SCP, resulting in an incident that caused more than 100 casualties. Foundation personnel immediately took possession of remaining SCPs 2312-7 and, based on notebooks recovered from the cult, instituted Procedure 110 Montauk to prevent future occurrences.
Okay, oh my god. I know it might be too much information to fit in all in one video, but I really hope we get to see which SCPs are the ones, being born. Like, I want to see which ones, that caused 100 casualties. Was it, the indestructible creature? I know most of you guys are saying the indestructible creature is not a children of the Scarlet King per se. Maybe he's like a general. I'm not too sure. I forgot what you guys are telling me. But I just want to know which SCPs are the ones being birthed.
As to what kind of 110 Montauk procedure is, it has not been clearly specified in the document for the time being. But in the documents mentioned in Appendix 231B, the 110 Montauk procedure is not only terrible, but also causes severe pain and involves some kind of brutal behavior. All personnel assigned to 2317 must rotate out for 1 month of psychological counseling after 2 months on site.
Damn.
And all personnel assigned to SCP-231 will be transported to 231's containment blindfolded from Site 19. by a route including no fewer than 7 different forms of transportation, including but not limited to aircraft, automobile, underground tunnel, and others.
Okay.
Removal of the blindfold during the transport process is grounds for immediate termination. According to the Foundation, either an attempt to remove an SCP fetus or a mother's death will result in a catastrophic event.
Oh.
Now 6 of them have died.
Well, what's the catastrophic event? Y'all can't be leaving this shit out. Oh my god.
And only SCP-2317 is left. 2311 was killed during initial recovery operations while giving birth to an SCP.
Which one is it?
2312 was killed while attempting to remove a second SCP fetus, immediately resulted in an incident.
What was that
2313
incident?
self-terminated following a prolonged period of distress caused by the implementation of Procedure 110 Montauk. The delivered SCP immediately led to an incident. 2314 was treated with SCP-500 that claims to cure the subject of all diseases.
Okay, one, I know you guys were telling me some of these SCPs, like the last one I did a reaction to, like with the tinfoil hat, y'all told me that's not a canon SCP. So at least it's hard for me because I don't know all of them. But I'm assuming like SCPs, like, you know, this one, SCP-500, which is just, you know, ibuprofen probably. It's probably not a canon SCP. Is that safe to assume or no? Just trying to understand, like, SCPs like this come up. I'm just going to assume until further notice that it's not a canon SCP unless, you know, it seems like one. Because this SCP seems similar to, like, you know, the tinfoil hat, which I thought was a canon SCP, but it wasn't.
Despite the successful expulsion of all parts of the produced SCP, the excreted residue immediately underwent an event, causing numerous casualties, including 2314 herself.
What is...
Due to the improper execution of the 110 Montauk procedure, 2315 gave birth to an SCP 1 hour later, which immediately underwent an event. Recruitment standards for D-Class personnel have since been modified to minimize the possibility of a second improper 110 Montauk procedure. 2316 died in an escape attempt inspired and assisted by an agent who had been exhibiting heightened stress levels due to prolonged exposure to 231 and attempted to use a said weapon to rescue
stress levels for just chilling with the 7 brides? Is there something going on behind the scenes? I feel like I'm going to have so many questions with this SCP animation. Hold on, let me just hear it again. Because there's so much stuff they're leaving out. And I know this is like a complex SCP. Literally, there's like 7 of them. And it holds greater weight because it deals with the Scarlet King. But they're leaving so much stuff out. Hold on.
An agent who had been exhibiting heightened stress levels due to prolonged exposure to 231 and attempted to use a said weapon to rescue 2316 and 2317. Both the agent and 2316 were killed in the resulting firefight. The fetus of 2316's then underwent another event.
Wait, what? How did the agent die? Hold on.
2317.
The bride didn't have a gun.
The agent and 2316 were killed in the resulting firefight.
No,
exposure to 231 and attempted to use a said weapon to rescue 2316 and 2317.
Okay.
Both the agent
and
2316 were killed in the resulting firefight. The
firefight? So there was another person, another agent probably, that shot this agent and then ended up killing SCP-231, 7 or 6. But why wouldn't they show the other agent shoot? Oh, maybe it's a small detail.
Fetus of 2316's then underwent another event. In the wake of this incident, 05 level personnel voted by unanimous decision to amend personnel policies.
Jeez.
As of SCP-2317, she was successfully contained at the site.
One
Following the repeated attempts to escape and commit suicide, as well as failure to contain 2311 to 6, 2317's containment procedures have been more stringent. 2317 is contained in a soundproofed containment cell and is always to be kept restrained to a hospital bed. 2317 is always to be kept confined to the bed, except during the 110 Montauk procedure. Hydration will be provided through an IV drip. Feeding will be carried out twice per day through a feeding tube by approved medical personnel who have not taken the Hippocratic Oath. Procedure 110 Montauk is to be carried out at least once every 24 hours by Class D personnel. During Procedure 110 Montauk, at least one security clearance for 231 personnel must always monitor the procedure by a camera.
Okay.
Following the procedure, all Class D personnel must return to their holding cells or explosive collars will be detonated.
Jesus.
With the implementation of the 110 Montauk procedure, the suffering of 2317 can prevent an XK class end-of-the-world scenario. For this reason, putting the
Hold up. Let me hear that.
2317 can prevent or explosive
Hold on,
collars will be
guys. I
detonated.
need to hear this again.
With the implementation of the 110 Montauk procedure, the suffering of 2317 can prevent an XK class end-of-the-world scenario.
Just the suffering? Okay. Just hearing all these, like, incidents and, you know, anomalies is happening when they die and, like, weird stuff going on. And an end-of-the-world scenario just from the suffering. The Scarlet King is like, they have a spell under these brides, or, like, he has something going on with these brides. I feel like it's just not them that are causing these weird things happening when, like, you know, they give birth or they die. Like, and I don't think it's the SCPs that are just, you know, being born. Like, the Scarlet King has something behind this for sure. But I want to know what. Like, I feel like I'm going to have so many questions because there's so many things they're leaving out. We don't know who the SCPs are, so it's hard to find out, like, what's really going on. We don't know the weird events, not going in detail. The one whatever Montauk, they're not even talking about it because it's not even in the records for some reason. Oh my god. This is a tough one because they're not giving me enough to, like, infer anything.
For this reason, putting the poor girl out of her misery is not an option. Under no circumstances are narcotics, anesthesia, or other unapproved medications to be administered to 2317.
Why not, though?
She must be aware of what is going on for 110 Montauk to work.
And what is that?
To this end, the Foundation will even amnesiac 2317 after a few implementations to obtain a better effect. Personnel who express sympathy towards 2317's plight or express a desire to rescue or sympathize with 2317 will be transferred to another project without delay.
I wonder if the agents feel this way to, like, you know, help this SCP just out of the kindness of their heart, or they're doing this because some weird, you know, anomalies happening with this SCP that's, you know, messing with the minds of the agents that are trying to help this SCP to escape. Because, you know, agents try to do that multiple times. They're talking about, like, they try to escape and agents was trying to help them and they ended up dying. I'm assuming they work for the SCP Foundation. They would know not to do something like that, or they will be trained better to not fall for, you know, someone that's, like, trying to escape. Like, come on, it wouldn't make sense. So maybe something's happening behind the scenes that we obviously not, at least I'm not seeing, for them to do certain things like this. It only makes sense.
Any actual rescue attempts will be met with immediate termination. Due to the drop in staff morale, 05 level personnel has stated that not everyone who's worked on 231 is terminated upon leaving the project. However, personnel who have been assigned to SCP-231 are allowed to take a Class A amnesiac before leaving the project if so desired.
Oh.
False memories are then implanted. I hope you enjoyed today's video.
Okay, Yo. I was waiting for this reaction a lot because the 7 brides hold big weight, at least in my head, about, you know, the Scarlet King, because we haven't even seen the Scarlet King. So I was expecting probably a little bit more than what I should expect from these animations, just knowing that they're not, you know, the wiki article. These are just animations. They only have a certain amount of time, I'm assuming, to, you know, make it into fruition. So it's just interesting because I have so many questions, and I probably will just read the wiki article for this one in particular because there's just so much. I really want to know. If we have information, I really want to know about which SCPs were born and if they are alive after the deaths of the brides. Because, you know, some of them, you know, after birth they died, or they died, or they took out the fetus of the SCP. I just want to know which SCPs these are and see if they have any ties with the Scarlet King. Like, if it was like a SCP that we reacted to before, maybe could, like, put, you know, stuff together that, oh, that dude's, like, linked to that Scarlet King, yada yada, so on and so forth. But we didn't get that. Also, I want to know, like, is there any mind control going on with these brides for these agents to help them out? And the Montauk procedure, what is that? And the end of the world scenario, how is that happening? I'm assuming it's the Scarlet King. Gotta be. It gotta be. That's just my headcanon of it. I'm sure you guys know a lot more than me. If you guys like to share, please do in the comment section below, because your boy is spinning right now. Like, yo, this was a lot. And a little at the same time. However, I digress. This was a good animation and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though there's a lot of questions that are left to be answered, I still had a great time reacting to this. Hopefully some of the questions I might have will be answered in the comment section below. If not, I'll just go to the wiki page and check it out myself. So with all the way, I hope you guys all enjoyed this reaction. I know I had a lot of questions more than usual. I hope that wasn't a problem for you guys. Usually with my reaction style, I just say what I feel and think in the moment, so I don't like holding anything back. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and also remember, smash that notification button if you guys want to stay plugged. Remember, smash the sub button as well too before the notification button, because you know that comes first, and like the video because it'll mean the world. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a good day, and unfortunately that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one.